Another big story for the coronavirus in Maryland has more than 400,000 cases since the beginning of the pandemic, adding another 1,000 people been tested positive for the COVID-19 in the last day. Deaths, hospitalization, ICU, and the positivity rate have once again increased the numbers. A Baltimore church with several coronavirus-related violations opened for service, the Greater Grace World Outreach, earlier this week. They were shut down for mass and social distancing violations. Despite not being allowed to reopen, the pastor held a service Wednesday in the morning. During a record, Pastor Thomas Shower says the church has herd immunity. Currently, Baltimore churches congregate at 25% capacity. The CDC says roughly 124 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine has been administered in the U.S. That is a more than 3 million doses reported since Saturday. Based on the current rate, it is estimated the half of the U.S. population would be at least partially vaccinated around mid-May. Keeping an eye on the coronavirus pandemic in Maryland and metrics. Here is a look at the numbers on Monday's coronavirus. The state reports that there are at least 400,000 cases. Deaths are almost 1 inch closer to 8,000. Hospitalizations increased by 14, and the positivity rate went down. It's now at 4.37%. These numbers come as more students will welcome back into classrooms as part of the hybrid learning plans in Anne Arundel County if you live in the area. More students in grades 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 will now be able to have in-person learning. Ninth graders went back earlier this month. In Baltimore County, any remains students in grades 6 and 9 will be able to go back, and in Carroll County, it's grades 6 through 12. Not everyone is feeling comfortable for getting a COVID vaccine in Maryland, and because of that, Delegate Nick Charles is introducing the Maryland Employees Protection Plan for vaccine refusal. It would keep companies from enforcing a vaccine mandate and firing workers who do not want to be vaccinated, and would keep employees safe from lawsuit if anyone did not get the shot and then became sick. Deaths are now topping 8,000 people. This as hospitalization and the positivity test rate also increase. The state is now in phase 2A of its vaccine rollout. That means anyone who age of 60 and older is able to get the vaccine shot. Maryland is expected to get between 300 and 400,000 doses per week next month. More than 2 million vaccines have already been given out in Maryland, and that means about 25% of the state has gotten at least one shot. The statewide positivity rate increases once again as 1,100 more Marylanders test positive for the coronavirus. More than 900 people are in the hospital again with the infections. 19 more people have died. Maryland will enter phase 2B of its vaccinations next week. More mass vaccination sites will open across the state next month. The additional sites will be in Howard, Anne Arundel, Baltimore, and Harford counties. The first of them will open in Timonium at the fairgrounds on April the 5th. U.S. hospitals are at the shambles. That's part of the new report from the Department of Health and Human Services. The Inspector General filed that report. Research paints a desired picture at the toll the global pandemic has taken on the health system. Hospitals reported a long hours, more shifts time away from family, and increased responsibilities left staff exhausted, mentally fatigued, and sometimes experience possible PTSD. More than 900 people remain at the hospital, but there is a good news that the percentage of the people testing positive did not climb in the last 24 hours. This comes as the state is seeing a rise of variants. Right now, the governor is very concerned about the New York variants along the East Coast. Meanwhile, Chicago has placed Maryland under a travel advisory requiring a negative COVID test or quarantine. The state has recorded more than 1,300 new coronavirus cases in the last day. 15 more people have died, and the positivity rate is now at 4.64%. Starting today, Baltimore City is relaxing its COVID restrictions. Indoor dining will be allowed to resuming at 50% of capacity, and outdoor dining will be allowed to increase up to 75% of its capacity. Outdoor tents must be open on all four sides, and this comes as the latest numbers in the city show a 100% increase in COVID cases. More than 1,300 people have tested positive for the coronavirus in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate went down to 4.58%. Deaths and hospitalization with 14 more people. If you'd like to look at the coronavirus in the state of Maryland and you live in Maryland, whether if you're in Cecil, Hartford, Baltimore, or any counties, log on to their Maryland's link at coronavirus.maryland.gov. Click it.